I'll start by saying welcome, Andreas, and everyone else here today, this morning, or wherever you're tuning in from. We're super excited to have you on and share your experience with everybody, with your production and your journey in the music industry so far. I'm going to start just by giving a little background on Pandion for those who don't know. This is kind of how we've been starting our Zoom calls lately, just in case there's people tuning in who haven't been introduced to us before. So Pandion Music Foundation is an online platform that's free offerings for everybody, empowering artists as they navigate the music industry through educational resources, workshops, wellness guidance, and direct access to experts, helping to provide a constant thread of support for music creators with a specific emphasis on uplifting music creators from underprivileged and marginalized communities. So we have a lot planned for the new year. We're kind of wrapping up this year, obviously, with it being December. And we're still pretty new. We just started in September. So we're just getting all of our programs kind of hashed out and up and running, which is exciting. And the workshops that we've been doing, like this one, are the main program that we've started for people. So it's free for everybody. And then we record the sessions and upload them to our website once they're done, so people can catch the replays and gain information that sometimes is kind of kept by like the gatekeepers in the industry per se. And I think the music industry can often be very like secretive among those who are professionals in the industry who have like worked their way to the top and then don't want to share that information with emerging artists. So we wanted to kind of break that down for people and also do it for free, because I think a lot of times there's the like money barriers for people, which causes a lot of challenges. So yeah, so that's our mission. And then Andreas is here today, who Carl's and I, and Carl's Wolf is here as well, who's my colleague. Yeah, so we met Andreas like during the pandemic, kind of mid-pandemic, when we took an online music course together that was all about songwriting and sync licensing. And I think Carl's and I have both worked with Andreas
Yeah.
and co-written some songs, which has been amazing. And that was what that community was really about, was like meeting other artists who wanted to co-write together. And Vicky's here as well, who I've co-written with, which is great, from that course as well. So yeah, it was really great. And that's kind of where we begin, I guess, our knowing Andreas and watching everything that you've been doing, which has been really cool, Andreas, to see how much you've done since then. So yeah, I would love to just kind of start with asking you a little bit about how you got started in music and what led you to production would be a great way to start off.
Right. So yeah, hi everyone. Um, what got me started in music? Yeah, that's a good one. So I started playing piano when I was 6. So I'm not quite sure what the like emotions and decisions leading up to that was, but like at the sort of preschool kindergarten thing where you go as a 6-year-old, there was this we had this piano in the room where all the kids were hanging around in, like the living room sort of. And like most kids were just like banging on it, making funny noises like it makes noise, blah blah blah. But meanwhile, I was actually trying to play something that wasn't just noise, and one of the teachers there kind of caught on to that and started teaching me. So she taught me for a while, and then we had like a sort of Christmas concert thing in school, which was kind of funny because at that time my parents didn't even know that I could play because I'd only done it at the sort of preschool, and like we did all the Christmas music and the choirs and stuff, and now Andreas is playing the piano, and my parents didn't even know I could play, and I was like playing this Christmas music, and they're like, yay! So that was a lot of fun. So after that, they kind of signed me up for piano lessons, and I kept playing piano forever. That's still like my primary thing that I'm doing. So that's why there's here. Now I'm looking at myself as well. It's kind of cool. Anyway, but then like at ages like mid-teens, I started finding love for rock and roll and metal and that kind of stuff, and the piano wasn't particularly suited for that. I tried. I've been playing a lot of Metallica on piano as well, but eventually I figured that I should probably pick up the electric guitar since that's all the music that I listen to. So then I started playing guitar, and I kept doing that for a while, and then I kind of picked up singing for a bit. Still not very good at it, but I kind of do it, sort of, kind of. So then I got that, and then I was more or less bribed with drum lessons from my piano teacher so that I could pick up musical theater gigs so that he didn't have to do it. Because otherwise my piano teacher would be playing the piano on that gig, and now it was, if I give you drum lessons, then you can take this gig, and so he did. So then I play drums as well. So that's kind of the story of all the pieces falling together. And I've always been like a person to enjoy doing like do-it-yourself kind of person. So when I had all of these instruments, I figured that I can more or less be my own band. Like I was playing in a bunch of bands as well, and I always figured that usually I either did all of the things in the band because I was better than the other people that I was working with, or I was not better than all the other people and I just did my little thing in my corner, and that wasn't really fun either. So I figured that I could just try do all the things myself. So I started like Googling how to record yourself, and I found all kinds of weird stuff, and I found this program called Cubase that I didn't know at the time that there were other programs like it. I didn't know that it was a DAW, digital audio workstation. I just know that, hey, it's Cubase. I can plug in my stuff and record stuff. And that was at age maybe like 16 or something. And I just kind of did that for a while. I didn't know that this was producing. I was just making music. It wasn't really until like the course that we took together that that I realized this is what considered a producer. I was just making stuff, really.
How long had you been, first of all, if you guys didn't pick that up, that all that comes down to the fact that Andreas is an amazing multi-instrumentalist, as you call him. Just can like pick up any instrument pretty much and play it amazingly, which is really cool. And I would love to ask you like how long had you been doing that before, like I guess producing and using your DAW, as they call them, for production before you took that course? Like how many years was it that you were working on that? Or how long?
Probably maybe like 10 on and off. Like
Cool.
not to the intensity that I do it today,
Yeah,
but like once a month, like, or just like a fun hobby thing on the side whenever I felt like it.
cool. And is Cubase, is that one, I don't know that one very well. Is that like a common one in your area of the world that you like in Sweden? Or is it like widely accessible for people to use?
Um, I actually don't really know what the general consensus is, but within my small circle of friends that I had when I started doing this, that was all that I knew. Like there
Mhm.
was Cubase and another program called Nuendo, which is essentially the
Mhm.
exact same thing, but more geared towards making music for film and video. So they have this video player, but it's essentially the same thing. And those were like the only two programs that I knew about, and it was the only ones that were talked about in my friend group. So I didn't hear about like Pro Tools or Logic until years later.
Mm-hmm.
I started with Cubase. I think Cubase has been around a lot longer than Pro Tools. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure. Um,
Don't
yeah, I
know.
didn't hear about Pro Tools until I was at university. So I learned on Cubase as well.
Cool. Yeah, there's so many of them now. It seems like a lot of people use different ones, which is it's cool that you can kind of use any of them and still get the same kind of results, which is that's
Yeah.
great. Cool. Um, Great. Well, I guess we can start. Andreas is going to do a song share with us today, which we're very excited about. So he's going to show us one of the songs that he's working on in his DAW program, and hopefully give just some more insight to you all of like the different techniques that he uses when he's producing. And I think it's helpful for a lot of people to see that, instead of like, I think a lot of people talk about the different plugins they use or different tools, but I think it's a nice thing to be able to actually see it. So yeah, so we're very excited about this. So Andreas, if you would want to screen share, I think that might be the best way to do it. And then we might just pop in and ask you questions throughout as we're going along.
Yeah, cool. So my kind of plan here was, if we just start off by just listening to the song, just like from start to finish. It's about 3.5 minutes, if that works with the schedule. And then we can start kind of breaking things apart.
Perfect.
And the reason I say that is because having the audio from Cubase work nicely with Zoom has proven to be a challenge, but I think I've solved it. But we can start off by not using Cubase, just to listen to the song to begin with. So if you just screen share just like a disco page, just to listen to the song.
Cool.
So this is a song called Something in the Night, and it's we made it based on a brief that we got from an agency called Sweet on Top, and I will probably get back to that as we play it, but hopefully this should just play nicely and we're good to go. And also, I muted myself while we're talking, that's good. I'll make sure to have the chat open, so if there's any question, just like throw it out there and I'll get to it. Cool, let's go.
Do you feel it coming? The time is near.
Sorry, I'm just kind of paranoid. I'm not sure if I pressed the right buttons. Do you actually hear the audio? Can you just confirm that real quick? Oh, perfect, thank you. I'm paranoid, sorry.
Don't look back now. Don't turn around. Run, oh run. Something in the night, time to run and hide. Must flee for dear life. One foot at a time, what we will find.
All right. So
Amazing.
that's the song.
Very good.
So, any immediate questions, or we're just jumping into the Cubase session?
Looks like we might be good to go just to get straight in.
Awesome. Let me just move some stuff around so that I can see you guys and see the chat. Where's the chat? I am not a super experienced Zoom person, but I should have all the things lined up so that I can see you and I can see the chat and I can see all of the stuff.
Cool. It's looking good
Awesome.
on our end over here. So
Let's just do a quick test that you can actually hear the audio. So let me just play this last chorus here. Awesome. So I did a bunch of like testing in preparation for this, and when I listened in from my phone, the audio was garbage. But when I listened in from my laptop, the audio was good. So I'm not sure, maybe if it sounds weird, it could be some Zoom settings on your side. I have done what I can to make this work.
thank you. Yeah, there's still a lot of I think glitches with these systems.
Yeah. How long did it take me to produce this? In like actual effective hours, I'm not entirely sure, but I'd say I had most of it done in maybe 2 weeks, like on and off. But then this has kind of been an ongoing project where we did a bunch of stuff and sent it off and got some feedback and had a new idea and tried something else, and like it's an iterative process. So I think like this project all in all has been going on for maybe 3 months or so. So anyway, here is a whole bunch of tracks. This is kind of what my sessions tend to look like when you have a bunch of stuff. And I wanna, let's see where I wanna start this. I wanna address like some transitions, because that's one of the things that caught me a bit off guard coming from like rock and metal side of things going into the world of sync. Because if you imagine like a rock song, you have maybe like a softer verse going into a chorus, you have this great like build up and great drum feel, and yeah, you want to go into the chorus, and you kind of want to do that still in the sync licensing world. However, one big thing in sync licensing is edit points. And if you have a big ass drum fill going into that chorus, they won't be able to edit it into the chorus. So one thing that I've kind of started to try to work into the arrangements of the song is to have a build up that cuts, and then you get the chorus. So you probably heard me doing that over and over and over in this song. Like if we play just this very short pre-chorus here.
Run, oh run. Something
So you get this build up and it kind of cuts. And the way I like to do that is just layer a whole bunch of different things that kind of do the build ups. So for instance, here is a bass guitar that just slides up. Everything is kind of silent when you play it in solo. I hope you could hear that. And a reverse cymbal. And this little guy. So it's all just a lot of small pieces fitting together to kind of make the whole picture. And another thing that's been challenging in the sync licensing world is you want to have you want the song to have a nice big build up, like it starts soft and then it gets bigger and bigger as you go along. Meanwhile, we also want to like catch the interest of the listener right away. And a lot of people say to maybe even front load the chorus so that your song can start with a chorus. But if you do that, how do you keep building from that? So that's one of like my main challenges, to try to catch the listener without going bombastic from the very beginning. So you kind of want to be. I tried to make this soft but intense and kind of mystic, and I think we pulled it off with the just like listen to the intro for that. Like we have this weird ass sound that I honestly don't quite know what it is. I found it and it sounds cool. And you can just barely hear it, but like it's there and it creates a bit of atmosphere while also having this little piano thing. And also, let's actually, because we made the song for a brief, and to that brief they gave us a couple of reference tracks. So I kind of want to show you what I picked from those different reference tracks. So there were these 3 different songs, and they had some different elements into it, and I didn't want to pick too much from like a single song, because you don't want to end up with a copy of one song. So I kind of picked a little bit of each. So if we just listen to this one real quick. Now we won't be able to listen to all of these tracks because that was gonna eat up all of whatever. I'm just gonna play. So you probably caught that that's kind of what inspired this little piano intro here. So we had this kind of almost like a what do you call it, like music box kind of vibe to it, but it's actually a piano. So that's what inspired this. And I think
Andreas, can I ask which instrument you usually start with, like when you're starting a project? Because you have so much layering, which is so cool. Like, what is what's like the main thing? Is it keyboard or?
Yeah, I personally usually start with some kind of piano, but that's primarily because that is my background. So the piano is really great at giving you a good like overview of like, these are the chords, these are the bass things, here's the melody. You can like get a good bird's eye view of what you're doing. And I also find that it's easy to replace. Like if I start with a piano, I can more mentally see it as a placeholder track if I end up not actually wanting a piano on this song. Meanwhile, if I would do the same with like a guitar, my brain would probably be calibrated saying like, yeah, this is a guitar song now.
Yeah,
it
seems like piano.
That.
Yeah, piano has a very like versatile sound. I feel like you can. I feel the same way with guitar. Whenever I hear like a guitar starting a song, it's like immediately a guitar song. It's like harder to. Yeah, that's great. Cool. Thank you.
Now, there's definitely moments where I do start a song with piano, not intending it to be there by the end, but it actually stays there until the end, and I never really get rid of it. That does happen. But yeah, I usually start with the piano just to kind of get my bearings on the like the melodies and the chords and all of that stuff. Let's actually just keep going with the same song and show what other things I picked. I don't remember. I've color coded the things I picked, but I don't remember what each of the things mean. So we just play it.
It's a different world. It's a different world than the one you knew.
Okay, so I think what the idea that I kind of stole from this is that after having it being soft for a while, we get this kind of bass that just a duh. And I'm not sure you're gonna be able to hear this very well. So that kind of comes in after a while, just to add some, yeah, because that's another thing that I keep hearing from other people that do this, that you want something to happen every like 4 bars or so. You want some level of change, some new instrument coming in, something being replaced, something being added, removed. So you keep building that up. So that was one of those tools, I guess. And the last thing from this same song.
It's a different world. It's a different world than the one we.
So this was actually one of the like the main pillars of what I wanted to try and achieve in this song, which is that really like creepy, almost playing backwards piano that's like just the very low, this kind of gives you a sort of haunted house feeling. So it would just listen to this again and just focus on that piano in the background.
It's a different world. It's a different world than the one we.
So I had a lot of fun with that one. So I'm not sure that's exactly what they were doing, but I wanted it to be an actual like backwards piano. So I went ahead and found a piano sound. I'm trying to navigate with all my tracks here, because I think that I actually had the, hold up, let's do it like this. I want to find the actual sound that I used before drowning it in effects. Sorry, I'm just gonna show you everything. Now this is gonna be an absolute mess because I want you to, was it this one? Nope, I have lost it. Sorry, never mind me.
No worries. Andreas, can I ask you a question about
Yes.
So I've heard a lot of people say that they use templates, and I just wondered if you have your own sort of template before starting a song, or whether you just go in with a blank slate.
I go in with a blank slate, but I've tried creating templates a few different times, but every time I do it, I like open up a new project, use the template, end up not using any of the things that I added to the templates, and then using a bunch of other things that I did not add to the templates.
Yeah.
That has happened to
I'm
me
the same.
many times
Yeah.
over. So at this point, I've memorized a bunch of different tracks that I kind of want to use,
Mhm.
and then I'm very quick to find what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Unless when I'm on a Zoom call, I guess.
Thank you.
And also, I find that if I end up with a template of 30 different tracks and then I use like 3 of them, then my session is just an absolute mess. And like, if most of the tracks are not even being used, I just prefer only having things that I actually use in my session.
Mhm. Yeah.
Anyway, so
I guess
here's
it depends on genre.
Sorry.
I guess it depends on genre as well, because I take it you produce in lots of different genres. So I guess, I mean, you could, I don't know if maybe you make this a template for like a haunting song maybe in the future.
Yeah, for sure. So I think I've created a template once for like my metal stuff and once for like orchestral cinematic stuff. But then every now and then we get a song like this that doesn't fit any of the templates and is kind of
Right.
shoehorned in, and it doesn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just haven't quite befriended that process, I guess. So anyways, here's the piano after it's been processed, so to speak. Let's just have a listen to it. So essentially what I did was kind of fun. So I just played the notes on a piano sound. That I was trying to find it was like a very detuned, rubbish piano sound that's kind of not super pretty. And I played the notes, and then I reversed that MIDI track. So now I had a MIDI track that was playing the song backwards. And then I bounced that track. So now I had an audio track of the MIDI that was playing the song backwards. And then I reversed that track. So now I have a piano that is playing the notes in the correct order, but every note is like reversed. And then I just
Wow, that's
absolutely
really cool.
drowned it in effects.
What
So, yeah,
inspired that like that process of how you did that?
partly just the sound of the reference track, because that was kind of what I was hearing, that it was a backwards playing track.
Cool.
And I've done some similar things with just like a snare sound. Like I think I have that in this song. Yeah, like a reverse snare. So if you on the snare, rather than just getting a you can get the kind of thing, and I like bounce the track and then reverse it, so you get these like the tail of the sound, but before the sound happens. Like this. That kind of thing. So it was kind of inspired by that idea in combination with what I was hearing on their track. But yeah, then I just absolutely drenched it. So let's just have a look at what it sounds before pre-drench, so to speak. If I could. Oh yeah, it's. Oops. Sorry. So it's still not like, it's not a pretty piano sound by any means, but I'm not sure how interesting this is, but I had a bunch of like, this is a fuzz distortion kind of thing with a bunch of different fuzz types on it, like tape or tube or distortion or like an amp simulator. So it does add a little bit, and then just some EQ, and then this is one of my favorite finds in plugin land. When you want to go overboard on echoes and reverbs and stuff, this one just, you put it in and it's already overboard and you don't need to do more. So if I just like, wait. So it's like a echoing and reverb, all happening at the same time. So I love using that on this kind of effects. That's just supposed to be an effect to fill things out, and I love using it on background guitars. Sometimes I have guitars just kind of filling out the space, and I love using it on harmony vocals, like backing vocals. I kind of lost my train of thought where I was going with this, but also let me know how we're doing on time. I haven't really like practiced this walkthrough.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, no, you're doing great. This we can go for a bit longer. I'll let you know when we're getting close.
Let's look at this other reference track called Devil Devil, which had a bunch of other things that I stole. So yeah, that's just like straight up electric piano. with a very like, I'm not sure how well the stereo effect is coming through on the Zoom, but it's very like left right,
Yeah.
left right, left right.
Yeah.
So I try to kind of do the same with an electric piano. Let's play from here. And I actually think this one kind of was like that out of the box. Yeah, I think I just used. Oh, that's great, Gary. Awesome. Yeah, I was kind of prepping this, and I tried to like doing the Zoom recording and listening back through the recording. It wasn't actually stereo anymore, and I was kind of panicking, but it worked out great anyway. And why can't I ever find the things I'm looking for in here? Nope, it's gone. I don't know. I think it sounded like that out of the box anyway.
Hard for that not to happen when there's so much going on. It's like trying to find like needle in a haystack.
Yeah, for sure. That's why color coding is also great.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah, imagine if it wasn't organized on there. Ooh.
Yeah. Let's just check the next thing that I took from this same song.
Be me. Devil, devil.
Yeah, it's essentially just the big kick and a clap combo. Because that was like something that caught me a bit off guard when listening to the reference tracks, because it's a lot of kind of creepy vibes. I think a lot of these songs were used in trailers for horror movies and that kind of stuff, which is not exactly what I associate with a clap snare. That's usually more of a like disco hip hop kind of thing, or like, yeah, let's party, woo, good vibes, happy place, and not the horror kind. But I went to Splice to find a big clap. Sounds like this. That's the biggest I can find. And then just layer a bunch of different kicks. So I had this kick. And I had a soft kick. And I had, I don't even know what this is kind of soft-ish sort of thing as well. Almost like a sort of heartbeat. Like I can imitate a kick. What else do? And just like some bigger orchestral kind of thing. So with all of that together, I think that was all of them. Yeah. And
awesome.
now, yeah, sorry.
No, I just said that's awesome.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. This was also like one of sort of the main things that I took from this song that the other ones didn't really have. Let's just play from a little bit so you get the transition into that.
Think they ever stood a chance. Do not try me, devil, devil. Cannot buy me, devil, devil. You won't make a fool of me. Oh no. What
Distorted guitars. So that was something that was kind of cool, that I kind of liked, that I wanted to adapt. And this also kind of brings me into another subject, because it's very easy when you work a lot with like in the box, as you say it, when just like virtual instruments and MIDI and digital stuff, that you just end up with only digital stuff, and it can get kind of stale, I guess. So I do enjoy bringing in some human elements, and to me an electric guitar is a very good way to do that, because you get some like actual real playing from a human being and not just MIDI. So I added these guitars in the chorus. Which is just a very cheap guitar and guitar rig. So this is like the cheapest part of the whole arrangement. And they do sound slightly different. Like, once again, I'm not sure how well this comes across over Zoom, but if you listen to the sound of this one, and the sound of this one, I'm not sure you could tell, but just to kind of enhance the stereo effect, I wanted the sound to be a little bit different, and I just did that by switching the pickup on the guitar. So one of them is more towards the bridge pickup side, and the other one is more towards the neck pickup side. Apart from that, they're going through the same things. That's the lazy way to do things. And once I was on that note with using the electric guitars to add some human element, I kind of wanted to bring that into the second verse as well. Let's just listen to the transition into the second verse for a bit. So this was also like trying to add a bit of human element, but also one thing that I really like using guitars for is texture. So maybe you have this, maybe more prevalent in the chorus actually. Let's get back to that. But rather than like maybe have like some pads, some bass notes, some electric piano, and everything just very, very soft, I guess. And I want something to be sort of in the background, just adding some like rough texture to it. And I like to use guitars for that as well. So just these two guitars that one of them you can hear pretty clear in the mix because it's kind of melody. I think it's this one. Once again, everything is very silent. I hope you can hear what I'm doing. But this one, you can like barely even hear this one in the mix, but it's there and it helps to bring out some texture and some like rhythm, I guess. So let's play this verse, and I'm just gonna, in the middle of it, just gonna mute these two guitars, and you can like hear the difference that they actually do make.
Hear voices calling into the dark. If we look up.
So yeah, the higher melody you can notice, but the other one you can't hear what it's doing, but you can hear that the song kind of just dies without it. I'm just trying to read Gary's question here. Did you ever get to the project? Yeah, I can definitely like get lost in this session. Like usually when I start doing this, I just whatever pops up in my brain, I try to go as fast as possible from idea in my brain to track in my session, and then it's just there's no organization, there's no color coding or clever naming. It's a bleh, like puking onto a paper sort of thing. And then after I've done that for a while and my session is an absolute mess, but I got most of my ideas out of my head, then I kind of go into organization mode and try to make sense of what I just made. So at that point, like everything will have like stupid names, like just audio track 1, and everything will be default gray color, and it will be in a nonsensical order, and it will be an absolute mess. Did that answer your question, Gary? I actually wanna, sorry for like skipping around a lot, but since I talked about the texture of the guitars, that's really what I was going for on the last chorus here. The kitchen sink section, as we like to call it, where we just throw in everything we have. So let's take a few bars ahead and just transition into this kitchen sink. So there's a bunch of guitar tracks, or 5 anyhow, that just try to make things sound bigger, I guess. Let's just listen to those guitars and see what they're doing. And also this is a prime example of what I was just talking about. So we have guitar 5 duplicate, and guitar 5 duplicate again, because I'd never named those. So I guess this is where my metal background kind of shines through, I guess. I just can't help myself. How are we doing on time? I'm just like paranoid if you want to get more stuff.
No worries. Yeah, this is actually maybe just a couple more minutes, and then if anyone wants to jump on to ask questions, we can do that before closing.
Yeah, cool. Right, yeah, I wanted to mention one more thing about layering. One thing that I like doing a lot on the bass side of things is to have like at least one bass track that adds texture, so that you can hear that there is an instrument playing down there, and then another bass track that just adds like the bassy frequencies. So once again, in an attempt to bring some human element into this, I usually use an actual like electric bass guitar and just play the things I want to play. And then I have this fella. This has also become like one of my favorite instruments to use. But let's see if I can find it in there. Yeah, okay. So it's, let's see if we can get, yeah, can you hear this? So it's it's only like the bass frequency. There's barely like an instrument playing. It's just like a bass noise. And if you're listening on like a laptop, you might not even hear that I'm playing anything. I don't know. So I like layering that together with the electric bass guitar that I just showed you. So we have these two together. So that's a neat little thing. And if we're gonna talk favorite plugins, there is another big one I wanna shout out to, which I do recommend because it is free. And once again, that track is hidden. Let me just show all tracks. Yes, please. This guy. Here we go. Enable. So this is Spitfire Labs, has a whole bunch of free stuff, This one is like one of my favorite that I just keep coming back to. And it's just very simple, and it's very good at just like filling the space. Like one thing that I usually just do with it is just like
That's such a cool sound.
I think that is exactly what I do right here. Can I? Yeah. So that's, let's see, what's the context here?
Do you hurt?
It's once again very subtle, very like, it's just kind of there and filling out the space. And it does the job very well.
Cool.
Sorry?
This might actually be a good time to bring in any questions people have. Sorry, Andreas, I feel like we could just do this for hours and hours, and it would
Yeah.
be
Yes.
really
I could watch you for
amazing.
hours.
It's just really cool to see like the process and all the different elements, because you don't get to see other people and doing the work, you know, in their process. It's really cool. If anyone has questions, feel free to pop in the chat, or if you want to, we can unmute you.
Oh, I had one. Eddie asked how long this took. Yeah, I think I kind of answered that before, but like the basis of the track took maybe like maybe 2 weeks or so. But this track has been an ongoing project for maybe like 2 or 3 months, because we kind of jump back into it, get some feedback, do something else, try something new, and yeah. I also don't do this full time, so I kind of do it when I find the time for it. I remember there was one more cool thing that I kind of wanted to show.
Oh, yeah, please.
So I found this. This is like one of the first sample packages that I found, called Quantum Epic Sound Effects. These are not messing around. They are very epic and usually very, very overkill, but they are a lot of fun. So let me just show you this one. This is my personal favorite that I keep just kind of adding in there as a sort of spice, but it's cool. Let's have a listen. It's a bit over the top, maybe, but it's actually in there.
That reminds me of something that would be in like a trailer song for like a trailer.
For sure.
That's cool.
So it's actually in like here. So in context, you so yeah, that's another one that I just keep coming back to, because like other than just being a good riser, it has this kind of whoop, 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 so it also brings some texture compared to like this riser that I showed you before. That is very, very clean in comparison. It doesn't add grit, it just rises.
Looks like there's a couple questions here.
Yeah, the free version of BBC Orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I used that in this one, maybe I actually did. I've bounced all my tracks to audio at this point, so I barely remember what I used. But yeah, I do still recommend that one. I think you can still get it for free, maybe. I think they changed something about that process.
I think you don't have to wait the 2 weeks that you had to wait before. I think you
Oh,
had to
that
do a
was it. Yeah.
survey. Yeah.
Which plugin contact do I usually use the most? Is that a question? What do you tend
Yeah.
to use the plugin contact? Yeah. I would say the one that I use the most is probably this bass guy that I showed you. And I kind of like this drum thing as well. I would say those two are the ones that I use the most.
Cool.
And Andreas, how
actually-
do people? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, Carlos. I have something
No,
else.
I was just going to say, how do people get in touch with you if they like what they've heard and they'd like to hire you as a producer?
So I do have a Sound Better page. It's actually deactivated right now because Christmas, and I kind of got some things to do. But you can, I can give you the link to that or just my email.
Okay.
Email works, or Facebook. Facebook works too. I'm kind of disorganized. Just get in touch with me any way you can find me.
You're not disorganized.
Perfect.
You work a full-time job and then you produce outside of your job.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
not disorganized.
Very
You've just got a
impressive.
lot going on.
This was
Oh,
also
and also
making me-
since we're gonna have like a Q&A thread on Facebook after, you can also just throw in the link to the song, and if anyone has specific questions on the song, you can like pinpoint like, hey, what did you do on this spot, and I can actually maybe record a little session to show you.
Cool. Thanks. That would be amazing. Yeah, that'll be up for 48 hours after this. So, yeah, if anybody has, I'm sure people will be thinking about this for a while, and maybe more questions will pop up. I was also thinking, this made me think about like coming from an artist perspective. Also, like this is really helpful to know. It's helpful to know like how kind of your process, because I think a lot of times as an artist working with a producer, it's really helpful for producers to have like references or to know kind of like sounds and things that the artist is envisioning. So it's really helpful to kind of see this from an artist perspective too, even if you don't produce, but just like ways that you can communicate with a producer effectively to help kind of translate an idea, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm personally a big believer in like anytime you work together with people, you should have some level of understanding of what they are doing.
Yeah.
Like even if it's without your so outside of your area of expertise, you should at least like understand some level of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's always helpful. Cool. Well, yeah, I guess we're at the end of our time now, even though I wish we could keep going. I think
Oh no.
we will have to definitely have you back on again, Andreas, and do
Yeah, that'd be great.
do some more of this, because this was great, and I'm sure everyone's gonna have a lot of tools coming out of this. So thank you for sharing, and yeah, this is just
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
awesome. Yeah, so just a reminder, if anyone has any follow-up questions, if you're not part of our private Facebook group yet, you can join that. It's called the Pandion Music Foundation Creators Circle. And that's where Andreas will be checking the little Ask Me Anything thread. So if anyone has questions, you can pop them in there. And yeah, we're getting close to the end of the year. So this is like a good time to kind of keep your eyes open for what we have coming up in the following year. We have all of our information on our website, and then we are in communication on our Facebook group and social media. So if you don't follow us yet, this is a good time to do that. And yeah, cool. It looks like someone already has a question they might ask you later, Andreas.
Yeah, teaser.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, if there's nothing else, then we can just close now. This was awesome.
Thank you, Andreas. Thank you everyone for coming.
No
Thanks
worries.
everybody for
Thank
showing
you for
up.
having me.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice to see you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.